Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
Every now and then something happens. Let me know that I was right about something. Not in a way that I can go, yeah, or something like that. But once in a while, something happens where it's like, hey, Steve, you were right. I get to say that to myself. Alex sent me a email last night with an attachment, and it's got a GM memo attached to it, a PDF, 8 pages long. And it's a document sent out to General Motors dealerships involving something to do with a Corvette. A couple years ago, I represented a guy who had a Corvette. And it was a Corvette that was designed that could be taken to the track and tracked, but also is street legal, so you could drive it on the streets. And my client told me that his vehicle overheated. It overheated inappropriately. And he said, by the way, I've done research on this, and a lot of people out there have the exact same problem with the exact same car. So I said, okay. His car qualified under the Lemon Law, filed the lawsuit, and the case eventually settled. But interesting, during the litigation, General Motors' attorney took the position that, well, this is an isolated incident. I said, I don't think so. Go on the internet and look. So we've settled the case, but now here we are a couple years later, and crossing my desk is the memo sent to me by Alex, Special Coverage Adjustment from General Motors. And it's apparently document number N202302720, On-Track Performance Engine Overheating. And this was released in December of 2020. And it involves the Chevrolet Corvette Z06 from 2015 to 2016 with a manual transmission, or the Chevrolet Corvette Z06 from 2015 to 2018 with an automatic transmission. So it covers the year of my client's car. And it says here, involved vehicles are identified in the applicable warranties section in GM Global Warranty Management System. This site should always be checked to confirm vehicle involvement prior to beginning any required inspections and or repairs. So the condition is this, and it says, condition. Certain 2015 to 2018 model year Chevrolet Corvette Z06 vehicles may have a condition where the vehicle may overheat and enter a reduced power mode when driven on a track at sustained high speeds and high ambient temperatures. Now, my understanding is, with my clients, it happened just driving the car around. Didn't have to be tracked for this to happen. But that is a condition they're describing. So if you were to go into a Chevrolet dealership today and say, I've got a Chevrolet Corvette Z06 within this time frame, depending on the manual or automatic situation, and say it overheats, they could pull this up and go, oh, okay, we've got a bulletin on this. And then it says Special Coverage Adjustment. This special coverage covers the condition described above for a period of 7 years or 72,000 miles, whichever occurs first, from the date the vehicle was originally placed in service regardless of ownership. So they're basically extending the warranty on this particular issue. For vehicles covered by vehicle service contracts, all eligible claims with repair orders on or after December 17th, 2020 are covered by the special coverage and must be submitted using the labor operation codes provided with this bulletin. Claims with repair orders prior must be submitted to the service contract provider. Now, vehicle owners or lessees who paid for repairs referenced in this special coverage are eligible for reimbursement of their reasonable and customary expenses in accordance with the procedures specified below. The conditional right to reimbursement is provided by GM solely in the interest of customer satisfaction and is personal to the customers. They're saying, hey, this is goodwill. We're not admitting anything. Customers may not assign, and GM does not consent to any assignment of any customer's right to submit reimbursement claims or to receive reimbursement or any other rights granted by the special coverage to any third party, including but not limited to service contract providers. And the special coverage is not intended and does not confer any third-party beneficiary, subrogation, or contribution rights, or any other rights to reimbursement against GM, whether in law, equity, or otherwise on any third parties. Yeah. Someone's getting paid by the word over there at Chevrolet. So now, it says here, if someone comes in and has this problem, there is a correction. There is a step you can take that is remedial in nature that will fix the car, allegedly. And remember, when I complained about this and my client complained about this, we were told, oh, this is a one-off. I've never heard of this before. You can't fix that. That's how the car runs. Turns out dealers are to install an updated radiator package and for the automatic transmission vehicles, an updated shift point calibration software. The repairs will be made at no charge to the customer. The customer must provide evidence of an overheating condition in the form of one of the following: a diagnostic trouble code, meaning that it throws a code, photos or videos. The dealer should make a copy of any customer evidence provided and file that with the warranty claim. So you can't just say, guy came in, says it overheated, so we threw some parts at his car. He's got to have the evidence. And then, I kid you not, there are about a page and a half of parts that are apparently authorized when they have to do this repair. So there's a radiator upper air baffle, then of course there's oil, coolant, refrigerant, seals, gaskets, bolts, radiator hoses, radiator hose T, auxiliary cooler, ASM, aux cooler mounting studs, and it goes on and on. There's like literally 20, 25 different parts here that they're going to throw at this problem. And it says that it is estimated that there are only 5% of involved vehicles that will require parts being replaced due to the small number of vehicles anticipated that will need this repair and the limited initial parts availability. Dealers are encouraged not to order these parts for use as shelf stock. Wait till the car comes in, then order it. Now, parts may be removed from retail inventory management. Dealers should review the affected parts to confirm rim managed status. Parts may have quantity limiters in effect. And then it explains how much you'll be paid if you're the dealership doing this work. And it actually says, for instance, to replace a radiator in the automatic, 2.5 hours. Auxiliary radiator installation in the manual transmission, 4.5 hours, and so on. So keep in mind the customer must provide evidence of an overheating condition in the form of one of the following. We already discussed that. The dealer should make a copy of the evidence. And to avoid warranty transaction rejections, carefully read and follow the instructions below. And it talks about how you code this into the computer and how you get an authorization, and it goes from there. But the real key here is that here we are in 2020. The year 2020. It's a year we're all going to remember for a long, long time. For reasons much more important than the transmission cooler in a Z06 Corvette. Although I'm sure there's somebody in my audience who's got one of these Corvettes. There's got to be. Mathematically, there's got to be. And I talked about this at length with respect to dual clutch transmissions in Ford Motor Company. Ford Motor Company knew they had a problem with dual clutch transmissions. And they sent memos to dealers and explicitly told them, if someone comes in and complains of the problem, act like you don't know what they're talking about. Pretend you've never seen it before. If they ask you, are you aware of this problem? Say, no, we have no idea what you're talking about. I had clients who told me that they were explicitly told that. They go into a dealership on the third repair attempt, and they go, we've never seen this before. And I go, well, you've seen it with me twice. This is my third time here. They go, oh, I don't, I'm sorry, I don't recognize you. Never seen you before. So the manufacturers worry that if word gets out that there is a problem across a platform, the people who weren't sure if they had problems are suddenly going to realize they got problems. And some people out there just don't like to go and get work done. So the car ran a little hot one day, overheated. Yeah, just go a little mellow run, maybe, And the longer they can delay these things, the better it is for them, because some things go out of warranty, some vehicles get wrecked. So right now, here we are in 2020. And as you can imagine, the 2015 Z06 Corvette with a manual transmission, or 2015 Chevrolet Corvette Z06 with an automatic transmission, could have hit the road as early as 2014, 6 years ago, right? We're at the end of 2020 right now. So this problem, I know, was identified a couple years ago because that's when I had a client on it. My client and I filed a lawsuit, and I'm guessing it was 3 years ago. I think so. So they're acknowledging the problem now in 2020. And they're saying, well, they are going to extend the coverage out to 7 years or 72,000 miles. I'm willing to bet you that some of these cars have already got 72,000 miles on them. I mean, isn't that possible? After 5 or 6 years, you have 72,000 miles in a car? It's quite possible. Also, they're extending the coverage out to 7 years. Well, some of these cars were already in year 6. So they're bumping the coverage out one more year. And I know this, I'm not pointing at General Motors and saying, look at what they do. They're the only people doing this. No, all the car companies do this. They all do this on some level or another. But it's just intriguing to me because I had a case on this issue. And I remember having a discussion with the attorney going, it's hard to keep secrets these days. Look at the internet. And that's really the game changer here. There are bulletin boards where you can go and find discussions on any topic with respect to any car in a community of people who own and work on those cars. And so, for instance, when I have a odd question occur to me about my Viper, there's bulletin boards. I can go and find guys discussing Vipers all day long. It's all they do. You can imagine there's bulletin boards where guys discuss their Z06 Corvettes. So when one guy logs on there and goes, hey, my Corvette Z06 overheated today, went into limp mode. What's up with that? And a bunch of other people chime in and go, oh, didn't you know? And then they say, by the way, here's a thread that we've archived where we've discussed this at length. Go read it. And you go read it and you see all these people chiming in with the exact same problem. So 20 years ago, it made sense to tell a dealer, if anybody comes in with this problem, pretend you've never seen it before. Because the dealers know they've seen it before, and the manufacturer knows it's being seen all over the place because they're the ones paying warranty repairs. So look at it from the other viewpoint. If you're inside General Motors, Ford, or Chrysler, and you're the person who's authorizing warranty repairs, I assume part of your job is to track which repairs are getting made more often than others. And you see a spike in one weird repair on one specific car, the Z06 overheating, okay? Or the dual clutch transmission, or the General Motors with a detent in the ignition switch, okay? Those are problems that would become apparent quickly to the manufacturer and to the dealers. But if you simply own the car and it has the problem, you don't know if it's unique to you or across the entire platform. You don't know. You don't know. But like I said, Alex sent me this, and they claim in their own internal documents that they think it's going to affect 5% of the vehicles out there. And I don't know how many they built. I know it's not a car that's built in gigantic numbers. So, that number might be relatively small. I mean, 5% is relatively small compared to 100%. But the question is, how many of these cars are out there and how many of them are still within those time frames? Time-wise, yeah, they're within 7 years, but not by much. 72,000 miles? Maybe not. But again, turns out I was right. Not something I've ever talked about here before, specifically on this particular topic, I don't think. But there is now special coverage adjustment available on track performance engine overheating with respect to Corvette Z06s from 2015 to 16 or 2015 to 18, depending on which transmission you've got. So there you go. Alex, thanks for sending it. Questions or comments, put them below. Let's talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. The secret of a successful life is to find out what is one's destiny to do and then do it.